Okay, so what exactly is the Trump administration considering? What does this all mean? Let's bring in KGO AM radio host Ethan Behrman and Tony Perkins from the Family Research Council. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, I want to play a little bit more from Rhea Carey from the National LGBTQ Task Force, part of what she had to say today.
Dehumanizing those you do not like is the hallmark of an authoritarian government.
The group added to that this statement: the courts, science, medicine, and civil and human rights leaders are united in the definition of gender, sex, gender identity, gender expression, and gender discrimination, no matter what Trump and his administration says or does. So, Tony, she says the court, science, medicine, human rights activists, they're all on the same page.
Well, look, what the Trump administration is doing is simply addressing the lawlessness of the Obama administration and restoring the law. Look, Congress in 1964 and in 1972 addressed the issue of sex discrimination. You cannot tell me that in the minds of Congress that they were thinking of gender identity and all of the stuff we're seeing today. If this is a problem, then Congress should address it and change the law. What the Obama administration did was simply unilaterally change the definition to include this fluid gender identity term. And the Trump administration is just restoring the law. That's all they're doing.
Okay, Ethan, HHS, again, as Garrett reported, they also said to us that they don't comment on something that is viewed as a leaked document. They're not commenting on whether anything about that, but they did say this: the Obama administration's broad definition of sex was enjoined by a federal court on a nationwide basis in December 2016, and the Obama administration did not appeal. The court order remains in full force and effect today, and HHS is bound by it as we continue to review the issue. They went on to say everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Ethan, what do you make of that explanation?
Well, I think everybody does deserve to be treated with respect. It's interesting, though, I disagree with Tony and the HHS on this one. The circuits are split on gender orientation and whether or not that is covered under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. We can go back 4,000 years, and the Egyptians had 3 genders identified. This is not something new. It's not out of the blue. Many civilizations around the world have identified more than the 2, the binary nature of genders as defined maybe in our Bible that Tony and I read, but it's broader than that, and our laws are here to protect those who are minorities and can be discriminated against. And we have evolved that way over the years.
To that point, though, and as Tony mentioned, I mean, this isn't something Congress did. Do you think there's any appetite in Congress now to talk about this redefinition of the word gender or sex as we understand it for federal laws?
Well, I think right before the midterms, absolutely not. And we'll see what happens on November 6th, and it might become a bigger issue if the Democrats win in a blue wave. However, again, I think the most important thing here is, as our country has progressed, we have recognized the wrongs of demeaning and minimizing minorities that have been abused. I mean, it starts with slaves who were freed. We have the Reconstruction Amendments. We have the 19th Amendment to allow women to vote. We have the Civil Rights Act.
But we
don't want to remove rights. Let's grant them.
But we changed the laws. Lawlessness is a danger to our security, whether it's on our southern border or in our elementary school bathrooms. And in terms of civil rights and protections, every man, woman, and child has constitutional rights and are protected under our laws. But what we're doing by this policy that was put in place without an act of Congress, this was the Obama administration, we're putting people at risk. We're actually denying people equal protection under the law, because under this we would force women that are going to battered shelters for abused women, we would force them under government policy to be housed with men, biological men. This makes no sense. The courts, as you said, there's a split in the courts. But Congress has never dealt with this. Let Congress deal with it.
I think Ethan's right. It's not going to happen before the midterms, but we'll see what does happen. Tony and Ethan, thank you very much for good discussion on this.
All right, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.